You probably see wild birds just about every single day. But what if I told you that their simple songs and all that fluttering around, what if it hides a secret? A secret world of work that is, believe it or not, absolutely essential to our own lives. Let's dig in and uncover it. So picture this. You see a bird on a branch, you hear it chirping, and you think, oh, that's a pretty song, right? But what if that's just the tip of the iceberg? What if that really peaceful-looking scene is actually a tiny glimpse into a super complex, hidden world of work? Yeah, let's peel back that layer. Okay, here's the key idea. Wild birds aren't just pretty decorations for the scenery. Think of them more like essential, intricate little gears in the giant, complicated machine we call nature. And you know how it is with machines. You take out one tiny gear, even one that seems unimportant, and the whole system can start to grind to a halt. So to really understand the jobs these birds are doing, we first got to understand the world they're working in. And it all starts with the most fundamental process in all of nature, the food chain. Just think of a forest, for example. It's not just the trees and the animals, right? It's also the soil, the water, the air, even the sunlight. All these living and non-living parts are constantly interacting with each other, influencing each other in this incredibly complex dance. Well, that is an ecosystem. And the food chain? That's the choreography that directs the whole performance. This is a perfect, simple look at how energy flows. It goes from the sun to the plant, then from the plant to the insect, and from the insect to the bird. Every single link in that chain is vital. I mean, take out the birds and what happens? The whole thing breaks. The insect population could just explode, and the hawks that eat the birds could starve. It's this delicate, totally interconnected chain of life. And this, right here, brings us to the coolest part. Within this whole system, birds aren't just hanging out. They're specialists. They are nature's professionals, and each one has a very specific and vital job to do. So let's go ahead and take a look at their resumes. So as you can see, we've got pest controllers, we've got gardeners, population managers, and even a sanitation crew. Seriously, each of these roles is absolutely critical for keeping our ecosystem running smoothly. Let's start with that first job on the list, pest control. This is just incredible when you think about it. Imagine a single family of sparrows raising their young. To keep those hungry chicks fed, they are constantly, relentlessly hunting insects. We're talking thousands upon thousands of potential pests being removed from our farms and our forests. They're basically a natural, super efficient, and totally chemical-free pest control service working for us 24/7. And then you've got the gardeners. As these little birds fly from flower to flower, sipping nectar, they're accidentally carrying pollen with them, helping all these plants reproduce. And when they eat fruit, they fly off and, well, they disperse the seeds miles away. And get this, for some plants, the trip through a bird's digestive system actually helps the seeds sprout more easily. They are literally planting the forests of the future. How cool is that? This really shows the bird's brilliant dual role. They are this critical link right in the middle of the food chain. See, as predators, they keep insect and rodent populations in check. But as prey, they provide food for things like snakes, foxes, and bigger birds of prey. They both control and sustain. They are the absolute definition of a vital link. Okay, so we've seen their specific jobs, but their collective impact, it's even bigger. Birds act as a kind of constant health check, giving us really clear signals about the state of our environment, from the deepest forests all the way to our busiest cities. In engineering, a buffer is something that absorbs shock to keep a system stable. Well, in nature, that's what birds do. They're like a living, breathing buffer material. If one type of insect starts to multiply like crazy, birds are right there to feed on them, absorbing that shock to the system and preventing a total collapse. They are nature's safety net. Let's just stop and imagine that for a second. What would a world without this buffer, without all these little professionals, actually look like? Well, the consequences would be nothing short of catastrophic. It would trigger a devastating chain reaction. So first, insect populations would just explode. Our crops would fail, our forests would be eaten away. Then, without the sanitation crew, diseases would spread from all the animal remains lying around. And the predators that rely on birds for food, they'd starve. And the healthy forests that give us clean water, they'd die off, and our water sources would get contaminated. It's a really, really grim picture. So you see, the sound of birdsong, it's so much more than just a pleasant noise. It's a vital sign. The presence and the variety of birds are a direct measure of an ecosystem's health. A silent forest is a sick forest. It's a huge warning signal that the entire system is in deep trouble. And this leads us to the final and maybe the most important point of all. This isn't just about nature out there, separate from us. No, this is about us. The future of birds is completely, totally, and inextricably linked to our own. We rarely ever see it happen. We almost never even think about it. But the secret work of birds is woven into the very fabric of our everyday lives, supporting us in ways that are both incredibly profound and surprisingly practical. I mean, just think about the food on your plate tonight. Birds help protect those crops from being devoured by insects. The clean water that comes out of your tap? Birds help maintain the healthy forests that filter it. Even in our cities, they're eating mosquitoes and other pests. Their work directly contributes to your food, your water, and your health. So when we talk about conserving bird populations or protecting their habitats, it's not just some nice act of charity for a few pretty animals. It is, at its core, an act of self-preservation. By protecting them, we're protecting the very natural systems that allow us to live and thrive. So I'll just leave you with this thought. The next time you sit down for a meal or pour yourself a simple glass of water, just take a second. Because somewhere at the source of those simple, essential things is the silent, the constant, and the absolutely vital work of wild birds. And now you know their secret.